Federalist 14 by James Madison, published November 30th, 1787. Federalist 14 addresses the major objection of the Anti-Federalists who believed that the United States was too big for one government to handle and too big for a republic. James Madison exploits his belief that the United States can indeed work under a republic. Furthermore, Madison argues that under a republic, people will be represented at both the state and federal levels. Federalist 14 concludes with Madison defending the multiple benefits of a union rather than a disunion.
In Federalist 14, James Madison makes many counter-arguments covering the topics of country size, type of government, and the Constitution itself, while also relating all these back so as to justify the Constitution despite the size of the proposed United States. One of the first points he makes is that those arguing against the Constitution are misunderstanding the type of government they are attempting to establish. They are confusing a democracy in which the people meet and exercise the government in person with a republic in which the people govern through elected officials. He also notes that the former, a democracy, is extremely difficult to maintain except in a small body of people, whereas a republican form of government can govern a much larger area and a much broader body of people.
James Madison next touches on the physical size of the country and that some European countries, such as Germany or Poland, use a similar republic and are almost equivalent in size to the new United States, which covered only the Atlantic coast. He also comments on how, despite Great Britain being smaller in size, the distances some of their governments have to travel were equivalent to those in the colonies. Next, James Madison notes that if representatives from all the colonies were able to gather into a Continental Congress during and before the war, why would it be impossible for them to do the same after the fact for the new government? He also reiterates the fact that the Constitution only gives what would be the federal government specifically enumerated powers, and the rest would be left under the state's control, thus increasing the effectiveness of the new government despite the size of the body of land.
The final 2 points James Madison makes are that as time goes on, new roads, canals, and other means of travel will be developed and further improved upon. This would only make it easier for the representatives to gather no matter the distance. Secondly, he makes one of his most important points in that all the states, especially the future editions, can be considered frontiers, and therefore are in danger of invasion or attack, and it would be in all the states' best interest to make some sacrifices for the sake of general protection, meaning to give up a little bit of personal governing power to provide safety for all the states. He concludes this paper by challenging the people of the Union to not be afraid of a new type of government, but instead try to forge their own new path forward.